Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Ram
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram
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 Ram,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna
Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu
Krishna Hare Hare
Nityananda Sri
Ram
Advaita
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Gaur
Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय श्री प्रभुपाद
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर हरे
Hare
कृष्ण
Krishna
भगवान की
Kundan Dhananjay
हरे कृष्ण सर
Hare
हरे कृष्ण सर
Hare Krishna. Sing a song from Sharanagati Bhakti Vinod Thakur. Let me share it. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. मानस देह गेहो जो किछु मोर पेलो आपदे नंद किशोर
जो किछु मोरा अर्पिलु तु आपदे नंद किशोर
मानस देहो गेहो जो किछु मोरा अर्पिलु तो आपदे नंद किशोरा
मानसते जो किछु मोरा अर्पिलु तु आपदे नंद किशोर
पदे पदे जीवने मराणे दाय मम गेला तो पद बराणे
संपद जीवदे दाय मम गेला पद पराने
मारो विराखो जो इच्छा तोहरा नित्य दास प्रति अधिकारा मारो
हमारो विरागी इच्छा तुम्हारा
नित्यदास
नित्यदास
प्रभु अधिकार
विमोहेक्षायदितोरा भक्तगृहे जने जन्म
जन्म
भक्त
भक्त
गृह
गृह जनि
एक जन्म हो यथा तो आदाश बहिर्मुख ब्रह्म जने नाही आशा एक
चित्त जन्म बहिर्मुख ब्रह्मजन्मे नायश
मुक्ति मुक्ति विहीना जे भक्त लभैते ताको
भुक्ति
मुक्ति
मुक्ति
लभैते ताको
जनाने द्वैत तनाया प्रभु गुरुपति तो हो सर्वमाया
जनक
जनक
जननी तनया प्रभु
गुरुपति
सर्वमाया
प्रकृति विनोद कहे सुना राधानाथ तो मार पुराण
भक्ति विनोद राधानाथ तुम प्राण
मानस देह गेह जो किछु मोर पिलु तुम पदे नंद किशोर
मानस देह मोर अर्पिलु पदे किशोर
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya
Jai
Jai
Gauranitai,
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 Gauranitai, Jai
Gauranitai.
Gauranitai.
Jaya Jagatnatha, Jaya Baladeva, Jaya Mashubhadra, Jaya Sudarshan, Jaya Jagat.
Jai
Jai
Jagannath,
Jagannath,
Jaya
Baladeva,
Deva,
Jai
Jai
Subhadra,
Subhadra,
Jai
Jaya
Sudarshan.
Sudarshan.
Jaya Gopala, Jaya Nandalala, Gopala, Jaya Nandalala, Jaya
Jai
Gopala,
Jai
Gopala,
Gopala,
Nandalala,
Nandalala,
Gopala,
Gopala, Jaya
Gopala, Jaya
Nandalala.
Nandala.
Jaya Yashoda Damodara, Yashoda Damodara Radhe, Jaya Yashoda.
Jaya Yasoda Damodara Yasoda Damodara Radhe.
Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya
Jaya
Jaya
Prabhupada,
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 Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
जय श्री श्री योगा धर्म हरे नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय
Jai,
नाम जय निताय गौर
Jai,
Jai
हरि
Hari,
Hari Hari.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Jai.
Jai.
रीडिंग फ्रॉम श्रीमद् भागवतम कैंटो 10 chapter 7 the childhood pastimes of Krishna. Yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om
Om
Namo
Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo
Om Namo
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Vasudevaya.
Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrutyam
Narayanam
Narayanam
Namaskrityam
Namaskritam
Deva Narottamam
Naram
Naram
Chaiva
Chaiva
Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim
Devim
Saraswatim
Saraswati
Vyasam
Tato Jaya Mudirayet
Tato
Tato
Jayamudiraya
Jayamudire
Jayasु Abhadreshu
Nashtaprayasu Bhadresu
Namaste
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam
Nityam
Bhagavad
Bhagavata
Sevaya
Sevaya
Bhagavate Uttama Sloke
Bhagavate
Bhagavate
Uttamaśloke
Uttamaloke
Tir Bhavati Naistiki
भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिके नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भगवद्गीता स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे
सिन्धुभ्य एव च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां
जय श्री
पावनेभ्यो
कृष्ण चैतन्य
भ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 11, the childhood pastimes of Lord Krishna. This chapter describes how the inhabitants of Gokula left Gokula and went to Vrindavan, and how Krishna killed Vatsasura and Bakasura. When Amala trees fell, they made a tremendous sound like that of falling thunderbolts. Being surprised, Krishna's father Nanda and the other elderly inhabitants of Gokula went to the spot where they saw the fallen trees and Krishna standing between them, bound to the Ulukhala, the wooden mortar. They could find no cause for the trees having fallen and Krishna's being there. They thought this might be the work of some other Asura who had made Krishna on this spot. And they inquired from the playmates of Krishna about how the whole incident had taken place. The children properly described how everything had happened, but the elderly persons could not believe the story. Some of them, however, thought that it might be true since they had already seen many wonderful incidents in connection with Krishna. Anyway, Nanda Maharaj immediately released Krishna from the ropes. In this way, Krishna, at every day and every moment, displayed wonderful incidents to increase the parental affection of Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, who thus felt both surprise and joy. The breaking of Yamalarjuna was one of these wonderful pastimes. One day, a fruit vendor approached Nanda Maharaj's house, and Krishna gathered some fruit grains with his little palm and went to the vendor to exchange the grains for fruit. On the way, almost all the grains fell from his palms, only one or two grains remaining. But the fruit vendor, out of full affection, accepted these grains in exchange for as much fruit as Krishna could take. As soon as he did this, her basket became filled with gold and jewels. Thereafter, all the elderly Gopas decided to leave Gokula because they saw that in Gokula there was always some disturbance. They decided to go to Vrindavana, Brajadhama, and the next day they all departed. In Vrindavana, both Krishna and Balaram, after finishing their childhood pastimes, began to take charge of the calves and send them to the pasturing grounds, Gocharana. During this time, a demon named Vatsasura entered among the calves and was killed. And another Asura, in the shape of a big duck, was also killed. The playmates of Krishna narrated all these stories to their mothers. The mothers could not believe their children, Krishna's playmates, but because of full affection, they enjoyed these narrations of Krishna's activities. Text number 1. श्रीशुक उवाच
श्रीशुक उवाच
श्रीशुकवाच
गोपानन्दादयः श्रुत्वा
गोपानन्दतया श्रुत्वा
श्रुत्वा
मयोपततो रवम्
द्रुमयोपततो रवम्
तत्र जग्मुः कुरुश्रेष्ठ
तत्र जग्मुकुरुश्रेष्ठः
निर्घातभयशङ्कितः
निर्घातभयशङ्कितः
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindam Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
जय
Station Sukadev Goswami continued. O Maharaj Parikshit, when the Yamalarjuna trees fell, all the cowherd men in the neighborhood, hearing the fierce sound and fearing thunderbolts, went to the spot. Hare Krishna.
हरे कृष्ण सर भूम्यां निपतितो तत्र
Omyam
भूम्यान्निपतितो तत्र
ददृशूर्यमलार्जुनौ
ददृशूर्यमलार्जुनो
बभ्रमुस्तदभिज्ञाय
बभ्रामस्तदभिज्ञाय
लक्ष्यं पतनाकारणम्
Laksham
लक्ष्यं पतनाकारणम्
Translation: There they saw the fallen Yamalarjuna trees on the ground, but they were bewildered because even though they could directly perceive that the tree had fallen, they could not trace out the cause for their having done so. But considering all the circumstances, had this been done by Krishna, he was standing on the spot and his playmates described that this had been done by him. Had Krishna actually done this, or were these merely stories? This was a cause of bewilderment. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And then
हरे कृष्णा सर उलु उलूखलं विकर्षन्तम्
Ulukhalam
उलूखलं
Vikarsantam
विकर्षन्तम् धाम्नाबद्धं च बालकम्
Damanabadham Chabdakam
धाम्नाबद्धं कस्येदं कोत आश्चर्यम्
Ashiram
Kashyedam Bhutasharyam
उत्पात इति कातरा
Pata
Utpataiti Katara.
Translation: Krishna was bound by the rope to the Ulukhala, the mortar which he was dragging. But how could he have pulled down the trees? Who had actually done it? Where was the source for this incident? Considering all these aus- astounding things, the cowherd men were doubtful and bewildered. Purport: the cowherd men were very much agitated because the child Krishna, after all, had been standing between the two trees, and if by chance the trees had fallen upon him, he would have been smashed. But he was standing as he was, and still the things had happened. So, who had done all this? How could these events have happened in such a wonderful way? These considerations were some of the reasons they were agitated and bewildered. They thought, however, that by chance Krishna had been saved by God so that nothing had happened to him. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Dhananjay.
हरे कृष्ण सर बाला ऊचुर
अनेनेति
आलावचोरनेति
तिर्यागतम् उलूखलम्
तिर्यगतम्
तिर्यागतम्
उलूखलम्
विकर्षतामध्यगेन
विकर्षतामध्यगेन
पुरुषायप्यचक्षमहि
पुरुषावाप्यचक्षमे
Translation. Then all the cowherd boys said, "It is Krishna who has done this." When he was in between the two trees, the mortar fell crosswise. Krishna dragged the mortar, and the two trees fell down. After that, two beautiful men came out of the trees. We have seen this with our own eyes. Purport: Krishna's playmates wanted to inform Krishna's father of the exact situation by explaining that not only did the trees break, but out of the broken trees came two beautiful men. All these things happened, they said. We have seen them with our own eyes. Hare Krishna, sir.
Hare Krishna, Mrityunjay.
Hare Krishna, sir. No te taduktam jagrahur
Nate
Nate
तदुक्तं
taduktam
जगृहुः न घाटे तदितस्य तत्
Naghate
न घाटे तेतीतस्य
Nagatit
तत् बालस्योत्पन्नं तरोः
Alasyo
बालस्योत्पादनं
Balasyotatmanam
गर्भो केचित् सन्दिग्धचेतसः
Eche
केचित्
Chetasaha.
सन्दिग्धचेतसः. Translation. Because of intense paternal affection, the cowherd men headed by Nanda could not believe that Krishna could have uprooted the trees in such a wonderful way. Therefore, they could not put their faith in the words of the boys. Some of the men, however, were in doubt. Since Krishna was predicted to equal Narayana, they thought it might be that he could have done it. Purport. One view was that it was impossible for a small boy like this to have done such a thing as pulling down the trees. But there were doubts because Krishna had been predicted to equal Narayana. Therefore, the cowherd men were in a dilemma. Hare Krishna. Sir.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so we'll stop here. Let me just discuss. Hare Krishna. Very much. Thank you for hearing the verses. Here in this chapter, whatever we'll read already in summary, Prabhupada explained. And then Sukadeva Goswami continued speaking to Parikshit Maharaj. He's telling that when these two trees, Yamalarjuna trees, fell down because they are standing for 100 celestial years. 100 celestial years means it is around 18,000 years in our calculation. Because one day in celestial platform in Swargaloka is equal to 6 months in our time frame. So therefore, 100 year in the celestial platform in celestial time frame is equal to 18,000 years in our time in middle planetary system. So we can imagine a tree standing for 18,000 years, those two trees, and how big must to be. Very huge tree, and the trunks are very huge, very big trunks. And when these two trees fell down, there must be a huge sound, right? And these gopas, they're engaged in different activities during that time. And they heard this sound. They felt like some thunderbolt. And they thought there is no rain, nothing. The weather condition is very good because it is time of this Kartik month. So the weather condition is good. There is no rain, nothing. But how this thunderbolt, who, how this thunderbolt appeared? So this is a great. Then they thought they all ran to the spot where the sound was coming. And when they arrived, they saw that along with Nanda Maharaj, they all saw that these two big trees they fell down, and Krishna is standing between these two, bound in the ulukhala. And they became very surprised. Who did this? Who did this? And they started inquiring with each other how it is possible that these big trees have fallen without anything, no cyclone, nothing, no earthquake, nothing. How it fell down, how it fell down. It is wonderful because anything wonderful happens, we ask each other, no? We inquire from each other, what is going on, why, how it happened. So that is what they were also doing that. They were inquiring from each other. Then there were few boys, they were playing nearby, and they were observing Krishna. When Krishna dragged this mortar, Ulukhala, and they were seeing, they're taking pleasure because Krishna is dragging this Ulukhala. And they're taking pleasure, they're laughing and they're smiling, they're taking pleasure. And suddenly they saw Krishna stalked in between the trees, and they thought, now Krishna cannot go, now Krishna cannot go, right? Then when Krishna dragged these two trees, they all saw that two beautiful personalities came out and they spoke to Krishna something. Then they circumambulated Krishna. Then they left. They all observed these things. And generally, the children are very innocent and they tell the truth very easily. Always they speak truth most of the time. Because elderly people, they may avoid to speak the truth, but the children, they cannot speak lie. So when these elderly Gopas, they are discussing with each other these things, the children came there. They told, yes, we have seen this wonderful incident. We all witnessed. And that Krishna dragged this, and these two trees fell down. And the two great personalities, beautiful, effulgent personalities came out from these trees, and they offered and they talked to Krishna, then they circumambulated Krishna, then they left. And by hearing this, the elderly gopis did not believe. How it is possible? How it is possible that that Krishna can drag these two huge trees, a small baby, 1-year-old boy? They did not believe. So that is because of the Yogamaya, action of Yogamaya, parental affection they have for Krishna. And that is what we have discussed many times. When Yogamaya acts on the devotees, they also don't consider Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God. Unlike the atheists on whom the Mahamaya acts, they also don't accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of God. The same energy, it acts in different ways. So, also we have seen some atheist scientists, and they see wonderful things in nature, in space, in very wonderful things, and they don't believe that it is the action of Krishna, it is the action of God, it is designed by Krishna. They don't believe. This is Mahamaya. And but there are certain very most munificent scientists like Einstein, Newton. They all believe that Krishna, the God, is the existing, and the whole design is being by God, by Krishna. So this is the difference. And here, Nanda Baba and all the Gopas, they are, of course, they are the devotees, Nitya Siddha Bhaktas of Krishna, and they are under the action of Yogamaya. And because of the parental affection, they don't believe. No, how Krishna can do it. But a few of them, because Garga Muni predicted that Krishna's qualities is like on the equivalent platform of Narayan. So they believed that yes, Krishna might have done. By remembering the words of Gargamuni, they thought that might be it is possible for Krishna to do, but still we don't believe. Still we don't believe that Krishna can do. This is what then they talked with each other. Then we'll read again what happens. Then I think Mother Yashoda will come there. Nand Baba will unbound Krishna from Ulukala. Then Mother Yashoda and the elderly gopis, they will come and they will take Krishna. We'll see again from tomorrow. Okay, so thank you very much. Hare Krishna.